Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What you all the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really bout it, tune on in, no need to side it. Go on and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What you all the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really bout it, tune on in, no need to side it. Go on and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's start it off with Mr. Brady, play the game to win it. Whatever that you think you analyzing, he gon' spin it. C-note on the money, get it straight from the beginning. Hit you with some quotes before you know it's gon' be trending. These boys ain't no rookies, they some veterans like BA. That's why we got real ones on the team like that boy TA. No, I ain't from GA, but I do keep it the G-way. Just like that boy Ant B when he breaking down the replay. Let me prick your brain, who you pick to win the game. Cause I can't pick a thing until I hear from Jamie Drain. Just sum it up, come have some fun with us from 8 to 9. We do this every Wednesday, talking sports, we going live. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What you all the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really bout it, tune on in, no need to side it. Go on and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Yeah. This following program is gonna be brought to you by Hello Black Man. Tune in every Wednesday from 8 to
Yo, what it do? We're back with another episode of Mike Talk Podcast, man. We got my guy TA on. We got my guy C-Note on the money in the building. And one of our great friends all the way from the big Y. When I say Y, what y'all think? What you think I'm saying when I say Y? You know what I'm saying? Man, this dude is Wyoming, man. Man, my guy in Wyoming, man. Mr. Air Force One himself, Mr. G14 classified, my guy Ja.
Yo, what's up, bro? What's up,
bro? My guy?
You having me on, bro. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Glad to have you in the building, my guy. You mean you original Mike Talk, man. You one of the originators, man. We own, you know it. So we're in the building today to talk to a couple of topics. We had a someone pop in named Iris. Can anyone do you all know who that was? No. Somebody popped in. I was like, what's going on here? They popped into the link thing now. I got a little confused, a little worried. I mean, we ain't big enough to get hacked yet. I don't imagine. I was like, what's going on?
The numbers on the rise, baby. Everybody trying to get in on the podcast.
I see it. Hey, pop in. I'm like,
hey, they found out Jock was coming on.
That's what it is, man. Listen, come on, bro. Hey, you put 2 and 2 together, man. You the psychiatrist of the group, man. I appreciate you getting us right.
No doubt.
But we're going to start off with the NFL. We got a couple hot topics we want to talk about this evening. I got a couple of inboxes actually today saying, hey, what's the topics? Where we at? Y'all on tonight? I'm like, yeah, for sure. We on tonight. We on. So one of our first topics of the night is which under-the-radar NFL team from the NFC and AFC do you think has a strong chance of surprising everyone by making a serious playoff push or even clinching a spot this season? Who's your under-the-radar team from the NFC, AFC? Listen, we're gonna go with our first timer first. We're gonna give him the floor, kicking this thing off. And I got the pen, so I'll jot down a few of his takes just in case they make it. And for sure, if they don't, we'll let him know how well his picks are. Talk to me, John. What you got?
All right, man. First off, from the AFC, you know what I'm saying? I scouted the landscape. It was a couple of ways I wanted to go, but I'm going with the Jets, man. The Jets. I'm going with the Jets. You know, I know it's all depending on Aaron Rodgers. We get that. But I think this year he's going to have a bigger chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? They added a lot of different weapons, you know what I'm saying, to help him out. Tyron Smith on the line. They brought in Mike Williams. They drafted another guy, Malachi Corley, you know what I'm saying, to go with Garrett Wilson. The defense always been pretty solid, you know. And then they turned around and added Javon Kinlaw from my Niners, Chuck Clark, and Isaiah Oliver, just to sure up, you know, for depth purposes. Mm-hmm. You know, as far as the AFC North, I mean East or whichever one they're in, the Patriots are down. The Bills don't look as good as they used to, you know. And then the Dolphins is a toss-up. No one knows what Tua's gonna do. I think it's a prime year for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers to make some noise, to go back to his MVP caliber days. I'm not saying he's gonna win it, but MVP caliber type of days. So in the AFC, I got the Jets. And then on the NFC, man, it's tough. We're real top heavy over there on the NFC. And then it's kind of a toss-up, but I'm doing this for my dog, for my dog Isaac and my boy Fred Fuller. I'm going with the Chicago Bears, man. I just think the whole restructure, what they did, even though they should have did this for Justin Fields, and they didn't, you know. But they brought in Keenan Allen, huge upgrade. You know what I'm saying? They also drafted Rome Odunze from Washington, who is a flat-out stud. Added DeAndre Smith, re-signed Jalen Johnson, brought in Jared Everett, who's a solid tight end, another threat for their number one pick, Caleb Williams. I got them. I don't think the Vikings going to be that good. I mean, the quarterback issue is there. The Lions will probably be the Lions. Either the Lions or the Packers going to have a slight drop-off, and I think the Bears kind of take advantage of that and be knocking on the wild card playoff spot in the NFC. So in the AFC, I got the Jets, and in the NFC, I got the Bears.
I like it. The Bears.
Hey, bro, I want to commend you on your Malachi Corley take, bro. He was one of my little sleepers, man. That's a deep dive right there, man. He's a route runner. He's like a Deebo Samuel miniature. Deebo Samuel.
Absolutely. Once A-Rod get that ball in that man's hand, it's gonna be nice.
Hey, much respect on that take, bro.
Yeah, man. I got the Jets. Yeah.
Real talk. Hey, we bringing him back, Jamie, for real.
Hey, I like it. Let's go to TA, Thomas Adams. Talk to me, TA. Who are your sleeper teams coming up for the 2024 season?
I'm going to go, man. I love those takes to my boy Job, man. Awesome job, my brother. Great guy, man. And kudos to all you doing in the military, man. Thank you for your service, sir.
That's right. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Listen, I like those takes, but I'm going to go in the AFC with just one addition. I think that this gets this team over the top with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the Steelers. I like the Steelers pick, and I like them getting Russell Wilson in the offseason. I always liked George Pickens. I like what Mike Tomlin always does. I mean, not having a losing record since he's been the coach at the Steelers, man. TJ Watt's a beast on the other side. I like the Steelers. The Browns, they were only one game behind the Browns this year without really a viable quarterback. And so I really feel like Russell Wilson, I know he had a rough stint in Denver, but I think the rough stint, to be honest with you, had a lot to do with the personnel. I think Mike Tomlin plays to his strengths. I also think Russell Wilson has something to prove, not just to the NFL, but I think to somewhat intrinsically to himself to see what is going on. I think that he's going to outperform Justin Fields. I think he's going to see Justin Fields nipping on his heels for playing time. So I really feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers can make a run. And listen, that Steelers organization is dynamic, man. I don't know as far as culture is concerned, man. They always keep good players. They keep good coaches. They keep just a good positive aura. And I think that they're going to build on that with Russell Wilson there. In the NFC, I know y'all going to not like this, but it's just the way I'm going to go. James, you know the way I'm going. Listen, I know we won. I know we won the NFC East last year. But listen, they still sleeping on the Dallas Cowboys, man. They sleeping on the Dallas Cowboys, man. Listen, I feel like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's year is coming up. They got to find him, figure out a way if they're going to pay him, not going to pay him, what they're going to do with his salary, what they're going to do with CeeDee Lamb salary. Dak Prescott, I feel like, is going to make the plays this year that are going to be necessary to get us finally over the hump. Did we make any great additions? No, but we didn't. To be honest, there weren't any really a whole lot of things that you had to fill. We needed to get a running back, and I feel like we got some people on the roster that hopefully will show themselves. But we got CeeDee Lamb, we got Brandon Cooks, we got some other receivers coming up through the ranks. I still like our defense. We got to shore up that run defense, but I feel like those coaches will get that taken care of. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys is not now. I'm not one of those guys that's going to say it's going to be our year. I ain't that guy. But I am saying that I feel like they'll make it past the first round, second round, maybe even to the NFC Championship game this upcoming year. That's for my 49er fan. And listen, we playing the Ravens this year. You can book that. We're going to beat the Ravens.
Hey, matter of fact, we going to that game. I'm calling you up. We're going to book that up.
Yes.
No way I'm letting you get out of Cowboy Stadium with a W. Drinks on me.
TV.
Yeah, must see TV.
Matter of fact, we might get the whole game to go. We get a Jamie off day, so we're gonna have to get on up there.
Let's rock and roll, man. I'll be in there with my Commander's outfit on. You know what I'm saying? Let them know. C-note on the money. Talk to me. Give me your sleeper teams coming into the 2024 season.
Man, I'm going out of the AFC. I'm going with the Colts, man. You heard it here before, man. I mentioned that team before. You're gonna keep hearing that name. They got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, one of the best running backs in the league. You got Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, the rookie wide receiver.
Yeah.
A beast. Imagine him alongside the other receiver they already got. What's his name? Michael Pittman. Yeah. So they got Downs as well in the slot. I mean, they got a well-oiled machine, and then they gonna have Anthony Richardson really settling in at the quarterback position. I expect a huge jump out of Anthony Richardson. The division is not overly competitive outside of the Texans. If you look at it, you got the Titans. You know, they so. Then you got Jacksonville. Nobody really believes in them.
Nobody.
So you know, I think the Colts have an open window to make a jump and really be a stabilizing force in the AFC.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my NFC team, man, I was vacillating between Atlanta and what was my other team? Atlanta and Washington, man. I'm really leaning towards Washington. You know, I think Washington is a little bit more stable this year. I love all of the changes and the new additions with the coaching staff they made. I like the cornerback. You kind of did a breakdown on the little rookie, 5'1" cornerback.
Yeah. He'll be picking Dak off. Go ahead. We'll get his name later.
Yeah, pocket commando, I call him. Anyway, hey, y'all, I love the quarterback. I think Washington have the quarterback of the future for their next 10 or 12 years. You know, you don't have to worry about a quarterback in Washington. To me, he's the best quarterback in the draft. I got him rated higher than my guy to Chicago. So wow. I'm a huge fan of your quarterback. So I'm going with Washington. I'm expecting a huge leap. I think they have an opportunity to finish second place in that division behind the Philadelphia Eagles. I got the Cowboys making a significant drop because they don't have a stabilizing force at running back. I think Dak needs a running back that's reliable, that's a thumper, you know, and I don't think Zeke has enough in the tank to really be that reliable force for them. So I'm looking for Washington to make that jump to second place and contend to be a playoff team.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen, I like the take. It's crazy. Like I said, we always say when you and I agree that it's pretty much it's a lock. From the NFC, I was with Washington or Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I didn't want to be the homer. I didn't want to be the Dallas Cowboy type fan and just say my team every chance I get.
Yeah, that was a subliminal shot, bro.
No, I'm just saying, there's other people might do it. I don't know who else, but I did choose Atlanta, and for the simple fact that I think their biggest strength in 2023 was their run defense, very underrated. The additions of Jesse Bates, Calais Campbell, and Caden Ellis, they had an elite run defense 2023. They will bring that back to a hard-nosed division. Their biggest weakness they addressed. Not only addressed it once, they addressed it twice, right? So they have their quarterback of the next 2 years in Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins goes down, they have a number 1 pick right beside it that I'm assuredly is taking first snaps in training camps and things of that nature. Preseason, you'll see a lot of him. So I think the only thing they were missing, so you talking about Drake London should be taking a huge step up. You're talking about Robinson, the running back, should take a lot of pressure off him. You're also talking about the tight end that has been missing for 3 seasons now, Kyle Pitts. The whole NFL is ready for this guy. One of the things that Brad always said, he looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. And so hopefully this is his season to actually put some stats on the board and not just look the part. He looks like a superhuman receiver playing tight end, and he just hadn't been able to get the ball in that offense. So overall, I think that's the biggest upswing I think that can happen in the NFC is Atlanta.
Also, if you look at what Cousins did with Hutchinson when in Minnesota, you would expect the same type of production out of Pitts if he's what they say he is.
I mean, like there's literally nothing to be able to stop him with the offense they're going to install. One thing is going to happen: Kirk Cousins is going to pass the ball. They will pass the ball, and there's literally nothing. I'll say nothing you can do about it.
And they definitely have running backs to go with all of that.
They do. From the AFC, I'm going very dark horse. When I say dark, I'm going Las Vegas. I'm going to the Raiders. Max Crosby finally had some help along the defensive line. And so like now we're talking about building an interior line, John Jenkins, Adam Butler. They have a potential wild card on the defensive line in their first round pick of last year, Tyree Wilson. So they're deep there. Their biggest weakness was their offensive line. And so like they addressed it in the offseason, they addressed it in free agency. Also, they addressed it in the draft. I can see the Raiders with Aiden O'Donnell winning 7 to 8 games, pushing for a 1 to 2 games outside of the playoffs. So I like the Raiders to be a lot more exciting, a lot more versatile, and a lot more. If you're in games in the NFL, you 2 plays away. You're talking about a field goal, a touchdown, a fluke play. A lot of times what happened with the Raiders, they down 20 points in the first quarter. They down 24 to 3 at halftime. If they're able to stabilize that team with the additions they have, I think they go into the fourth quarter up or down, plus or minus 7 to 10 points. And at that point, there's really nothing else you can ask for. A great team, if they're down 10, nobody really has any worry. This one play and a stop, and the momentum can shift. So I like the Raiders as my AFC team. The next topic, I'm not sure who this is, keeps connecting to the thing. This is bothering me. Keep guess. The next topic of the night is, and I added a quarterback because I don't want anybody left out here. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Who is the better overall quarterback? Consider their skills, leadership qualities, potential impact on their team's success. Who can win the ship? Rank those quarterbacks from 3 to 1, and then we'll go from there. Give me your take, C-Note. 3 to 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna embrace the homer role right here, buddy. I mean, with my chest out.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, #1 in terms of impact. If you look at, just over the years, I mean, when Lamar is not on the team, they have one of the worst records in the NFL. I mean, when Lamar is out there, they're the winningest franchise in NFL history, minus Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes. Especially when it comes to the regular season and getting them to the playoff. Lamar, even as a rookie, got his team to the playoff, and he took over a team that was 3-5 when he started, and they went 7-1 the rest of the way. So Lamar impact is unprecedented. So I'm going with him #1 for sure. #2, I'm gonna go with, it's very close with Jalen Hurts and Dak. If you're a statistical person and you're a numbers person, you're obviously gonna go with Dak Prescott. But if you like a person that's trying to figure out a way to win no matter what, put the team on your back, make a play, I don't care about the excuses. Make the defensive lineman miss, throw it off your back foot for 25 yards down the field. No excuses, make a play, get it in the end zone. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. So I prefer, this is just my preference, I prefer the quarterback that I trust more, and that's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is he's more dynamic with his feet. He can make a play with his feet. He got the read option. He got the tush push. He got, he can throw. He threw over 300 yards and a couple touchdowns and had a really good showing in the Super Bowl, other than that one turnover. He went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, So I've seen it. I've seen him get to the Super Bowl. I've seen him play big in the clutch. Yes, he has a great supporting cast, but I'm definitely going with him as my #2 guy. Then #3, obviously I'm going to go with Dak because he's the last man standing. I'm a Dak fan. I've argued Thomas till the cows come home that Dak is a solid franchise quarterback. I take up for Dak. Dak is, I think 75 to 80% of NFL would rather have Dak over their current quarterback. Dak gets a lot of flack that's uncalled for. I think, coaching has a lot to do with it in the past. Play calling has had a lot to do with it in the past. Putting him in certain predicaments, not allowing the running game to support him and not invest into the run game and allowing balance. I think every quarterback needs balance to be the quarterback that they are without trying to do too much. I think when you don't have balance, that's when you put Dak in vulnerable positions. And again, he's my #3, but not far off from Jalen Hurts.
I got you. Let's talk about it, TA. You may have a vested interest in this ranking.
Listen, I'm with C-Note on one of them, but we disagree on the other two. I don't know that you can argue Lamar being #1 just from what he's accomplished. The MVPs. I mean, I think the Ravens, again, they go as Lamar Jackson goes. What I would like to see more from Lamar is how he's going to perform this year. Now that you have, Derrick Henry in the backfield, again, an older Derrick Henry. But now when they load the box and you have to pass, can he win the game with his arm? And I think that's what we're going to have to figure out and find out. But is he an MVP caliber player? Obviously. And the Ravens are obviously better with him than without him. Wow. #2 for me is real easy. It's Dak Prescott, because at the end of the day, that's not even. It's not even close. It's not even close. But I'm gonna tell you why it's not close for me. It has less to do with the fact that is my team, but it has more to do with the simple fact of, like C-No said, the supporting cast for Jalen Hurts. When you look at his playoff stats, even the year they went to the Super Bowl, in 3 games he threw 3 touchdowns. He threw for right at 190 yards a game, 1 touchdown per game. They were winning more. He didn't make the plays to lose the game, but he wasn't winning it for them either. And I think that the onus is not on him to win the game. It's not on him to make the plays to win the game. They got a great, stellar supporting cast around Jalen Hurts, and he makes the plays that are needed, and he doesn't lose it. Now, I will go to that point in the playoffs. I feel like that gives games away, especially at crucial moments. But from a Jalen Hurts standpoint, if you're asking for the best overall quarterback minus, a few games here and there, I'm going with that. I like more of Dak's presence. I like more of Dak's throwing abilities. I like more of Dak's reading the field and him actually getting the job done on a team that's not nearly as talented, some would argue, as the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, true.
That Jalen Hurts, #3 for me. solid dynamic player, but I feel like, to be honest, you can get someone else in there and do what Jalen Hurts is doing. Jalen Hurts is not lighting up the scoreboard up. He's not lighting the numbers up. He's only thrown for this past year. He threw his 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Last year, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Comparatively speaking to Dak Prescott, who has thrown for over 4,000 yards 3 different times in his career. Jalen Hurts hadn't even sniffed 4,000 yards in a career since he's been starting for the Philadelphia Eagles, and arguably has had better wide receiver weapons during the time that he's been there. So again, I like Jalen Hurts. There's no knock. If we talking about ranking them in order from 1 to 3, though, I would go Lamar, Dak, and Jalen for those reasons.
Okay. Let me ask y'all a question, Jamie. This may be a question for another day, but is it fair to quarterbacks to ignore the rushing contribution in terms of rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, and only include the passing stats for quarterbacks? And that's something I think we need to look at down the road for as a discussion topic.
Are we eliminating the dual threat of the quarterback when you talk about ranking them? Like,
I think there's a strong media bias.
Like it could be a negative aspect, right? When you say, when you say quarterback, people will exclude what they've done from a rushing standpoint.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Yeah, we definitely something we can push down the road.
Okay.
Ja, talk to me. Rank those quarterbacks.
Oh man, TA, dog. It's okay. It's okay. I got you. So I'm with C-Note on this. Lamar Jackson speaks for itself. When he plays, they win 70-75% of their game. Him and John Harbaugh. There's no question to it. Dynamic. The only problem he has right now is Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, he'd be in 2 Super Bowls, maybe 3. Patrick Mahomes is just right now the best quarterback in the game. That's just what it is. So Lamar Jackson is number 1, hands down. Oh, TA, I'm sorry, bro, but you got to give me Jalen Hurts, man. Like, we play to win the game. That's what we doing. Pulling Herm was like, we play to win the game. Now, you talk about Jalen Hurts don't want to throw for 4,000 yards and all this. Yeah. But at the same time, like you said, I give you that. He don't lose the game either. Now, your boy Dak Prescott, when it's time and it's time in the brightest lights every time, he throwing it to the other team. It's just proven at this point. So I'm taking personally number 2. I'm taking Jalen Hurts. Just off the last 2 playoffs alone, I got a couple stats.
Oh,
Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl run. You're right. He went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes, who is the best quarterback in the league. 27 of 38, 304 passing yards, 1 throwing touchdown, 103.4 quarterback rating in the Super Bowl, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Okay. Now you go to Dak. Dak, the last 2 postseasons, he's in 2022, he had 0. He had 2 interceptions and 5 touchdowns in 4 games, right? So, no, I'm sorry, that's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts 2022, he had 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and then Dak Prescott has 5 interceptions to 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I want my quarterback who's not going to give the game away. Yeah, Jalen Hurts might not throw the passes that Dak Prescott. It might not look as pretty coming out his arm. But one thing I do know, Jalen Hurts will not give the game away when I need him the most, So that's just what I base it down to. I'm all about winning. The stats don't mean as much to me, Dak is the overall better thrower. I'll give you that. But when it comes to winning, what I want to do, I want to win. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if I got 100 yards, 89, 54. It don't matter. I want to win. And then add on top of that, Jalen Hurts, just last year, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, which is correct. But he also added 15 rushing touchdowns. There's some Dak not giving you. There's just some he's not going to give you. Now, he's a regular season warrior. I'll give you that. Dak in the regular season, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, top tier. He had a great year. But when it comes to the postseason, man, when you need that man the most, when you need him to buckle down and make that play or not make the wrong play, Dak always goes the other way. So I'm taking Lamar Jackson 1, I'm taking Jalen Hurts 2, and then I'm taking Dak 3 just off because I'm a winner, bro. I'm a winner.
Whoa, I like the take.
Don't mean that, you know, when you win at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna be remembered for. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I went with it.
Hey, listen, I like to take strong stats. You got the a young lady in the audience, Miss Kalisha Patrice.
What's up? What's up?
Spoke to nobody else. She is speaking to you right now. Just putting that out there. Yeah. So listen. So real easy. I'll say real easy for me, but this is not as easy as you think it is, right? Because if you're an old school frame of mind quarterback, then you elevate that. You say, if I want to pass for 400 yards if I need to pass for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns, who goes into the game? Automatically, Dak will go into the game. If I need to make electric plays, if I have 2 opportunities to go 80 yards on a play, you're going to go with none other than Lamar Jackson. If you're going to say this person will not lose me the game, Lamar Jackson from a passing standpoint, or Lamar Jackson from a skill set standpoint, I say skill set because that's how it's quantified. It doesn't actually speak to his ability, but that's how they coin it because he's a dual threat quarterback. Any passing error is on him versus his receivers or anything else. The same way with Dak Prescott. You're going to ask him to pass for 40 times a game, and then when he throws 2 interceptions, everybody's mind is blown. Like, what is your expectations when you're handing the ball off to your running backs 12 times in a freaking NFL game? The same thing with Jalen Hurts. If you're asking him not to lose the game, make all the safe plays. If you're going to put the safest quarterback out there, you're going to put Jalen Hurts out there because he's going to make more, I guess, easy reads. He's not going to force a lot of passes. He will play the game. He will go 3 and out 3 straight times if he doesn't have what he's looking for. But I went with, if I need to win a game from an age standpoint and everything that's included, I'm going with Lamar Jackson 1. I'm going with Dak number 2, and I'm going with Hurts number 3. And like I said, it just depends on. It could depend on who you're playing, right? If I told you who you were playing, worst secondary, give me that. If I'm going with somebody that has a great run defense, guess what? Lamar Jackson may not be the quarterback for me. So like all those quarterbacks, listing them 1, 2, 3 is not as easy as we've done, but you guys have done a phenomenal job with that. We're going to switch to Team USA. We hadn't talked about Team USA, and this is a great question brought to us tonight. So for Team USA basketball, I'm going to put a video up also. For Team USA basketball, who would be your starting 5, and which 5 would you trust to close out a tight game? We're talking about down 3 with 3 minutes left to go. Let's go down 5. We're down 5. We are down 5, -5, and we have 3 minutes. You only got limited positions.
So for clarity purposes, the question is, who would be the starting lineup, and also
who's your starting lineup? Who's walking out first? Who are you starting first? And if you're down 5 with 3 minutes to go in the game, who is playing at that point? Who is your
starting lineup and closing lineup?
Yeah, who's your closing lineup? So share your thoughts on the strengths and roles of each player. We're going to go back to Ja. We're going back to Wyoming. We're going back to Wyoming for this one because I'm sure he's locked and loaded with a great answer.
Yeah, for sure. So my starting 5, I went just off respect, just to start it off. You got to give me Steph Curry. You got to give me KD. You got to give me LeBron. You know, it's probably the last time they'll get to do it. Starting 5, those 3. And then you got to give me Joel. One of the main problems USA has had, especially with the international, is bigs. You know, we haven't had the bigs to throw out there for Jokic and Giannis and so forth and so on. So you give me Embiid, Steph, you give me KD and LeBron, and then for that fifth spot, after this playoff run, man, I got to go Ant Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Both sides, dual threat. You know, he can lock up, and then he can also give you what you need on offense. You know what I'm saying? Once LeBron coming downhill and you give him Steph on the wing, you give him KD, and you give him Joel down low, and then you give him Ant-Man to flex it out, that's a hard starting five to beat. You know, I'm just, you know, I just look at it like who is going to be able to hold who in that starting five. It's just hard. Now, when it comes to closing, you give me the same three as far as Steph, KD, and LeBron, especially Steph and LeBron, just off experience. You know, they've been there, done it, tried and true. You give me KD because he just you still need to space the floor regardless. And then as far as my last two, give me Jason Tatum, who can also, he's not as good of a defender as Anthony Edwards, but sometimes it just comes to putting the ball in the bucket, bro. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, sometimes you got to put the ball in the bucket. And then you give me AD. I'm taking AD to close out the five over Embiid. I love Embiid, but sometimes, you know, he gets a little tired and winded and wore down a little bit. So you give me AD to solidify that five. You can do more pick and pops, stretch. He can stretch it out a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And he's very long, very athletic, especially on the defensive side. So to close my game out, Steph, KD, LeBron, Jason Tatum, and AD. And then you just look at the length. You pretty much can switch. I mean, besides Curry, you can switch all the other four pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Very interchangeable. Put some pressure on the ball. Don't let people get in their sets. Very long, athletic lineup. So yeah, that's my starting five. That's my closing five right there.
I like it. Douglas Cobb said he got Curry, Ant, KD, David. Oh, he got a nice lineup as well. Davis. Okay. That's Anthony Davis. I got it. He's closing with KD, Curry, Bron, James, and Tatum. Very similar. Talk to me, TA. Who you got in for Team USA? Who your starting five? Who's going out there first?
One of the things me and Ja agree on a lot of times, or at least have some similar mindset, is with basketball. Both of us played, and you know, we kind of have like minds, except on a few different things. I like that starting lineup. The only person I would interchange, I would put AD in that starting lineup over Anthony Edwards. I like AD as a stretch, playing with a true five-man. You can really stretch the floor with KD, Steph. LeBron's going to be that slasher, and you can actually kick it out to AD to hit an occasional three. He's a rim protector as well. Joel Embiid can score. If AD can get out there and really be a factor to some degree with the 16, 18-footer and even on the perimeter, then it leaves Joel Embiid a bunch of space on the inside to really work. Steph's going to be Steph. KD's going to be KD. LeBron's going to facilitate. I don't think they're going to look for him to do anything a whole lot more than just push pace and get all those other guys involved. So I like, just for, you know, legacy's sake, having KD, Steph, and LeBron obviously start the game and get it started, get it warmed up, and then bringing those younger guys in there to push pace. When you talk about closing the game, got to take Steph off the floor. It's zero chance I'm putting Steph on the floor. No, absolutely not. I don't care. Down 5, down 3, down 10, whatever.
We down 5. It's 3 minutes to go in the game.
He got to come off the floor because he can't guard nobody. He can.
No, man, this man done walked out the set.
Man, he got to come off the floor.
He walked out the set.
If we're talking about defense, if we're talking about playing defense, he got to come off. Now, if you're talking about keeping him on the floor because he's going to be the one to get you back in the game and score points on the other end, cool. But if you're talking about really locking down and you have to get a stop, no, he got to come out. Give me Drew Holiday. You can even give me Derek White, who was just added on because Kawhi Leonard dropped out. You can give me either one of those guys. I like Ant Edwards at the end of the game. Anthony Davis, KD. I'm going to be honest with you, too. I take LeBron off the floor. Because he just doesn't play. On the defensive side of the ball, He really does not play hard. Now he'll lock in occasionally, but I would take LeBron off the floor and sub. I put Anthony Edwards in his spot. So if you're talking about putting those guys, LeBron and Steph for sure would probably come off the floor, and I replace both of them with Derek White and say Drew Holiday. If I'm trying to get a stop so I can go down and get another bucket.
That's a great take, right?
And so I'd have to take those two. I'm not trusting either one of those guys to get a stop if it's crunch time. When I need a stop, especially with the way the international game is played, I'm not trusting Steph or LeBron to get a stop when I need it most. So that's
honest with you. You changed my mind. I gotta change my mind. you made me. I gotta scratch through my paper now. Come on with it, C-Note. What you got?
All right, bro. let me get this take in, man, before I snatch my head off and throw it on the floor. Anyway, bro. Hey, Jock, I loved your take. Our starting lineups are probably identical. I don't remember exactly. I think it was identical based on what I had. TA, you had a different way of looking at things, kind of outside the box. But I get to the closing lineup part in a minute. As far as my starters, obviously you're gonna go with Steph at the point. You're gonna go with I love the Anthony Edwards at the 2. I'm a big proponent of having a dog mentality at the 2, similar to a Kobe or Jordan, person that's irrational with his confidence. I love that. Someone that feels like, he wants to accept the challenge of Gardner, LeBron, or whomever on the court, or give me the ball. I don't care who else on the court. Forget KD. I want the ball. And you need that mentality on the court. I love Anthony Edwards at the 2. He had an interview where he said, he's the go-to man on the team. Bump everybody else, he the go-to man. And he was humble about it, but you can tell that's his mentality. And he don't care who's on the floor, and I like that in him. At the 3, you got to go with a cerebral IQ guy in a LeBron James. You got to have LeBron James, your point forward, someone that's calling out all the switches and that's what makes him an asset on defense. You can't replace his mind and his IQ on the floor, offensively or defensively. I say a clip with they were in the finals. He was calling the Golden State Warriors playoff before they was even running and switching people and telling them where to go.
Yeah,
basically,
it's crazy. He got so many stories out there.
A team navigator, a team facilitator. He's the Draymond Green of the team in terms of playmaking and being cerebral. He might not have the old athleticism he used to have and the defensive lockdown ability that he used to have, but he's an asset and he's a resourceful person on the floor, offensively and defensively, whether he's, maximizing his matchup or not defensively. At the 4, I'm going with KD, the Slim Reaper, the sniper, the person that can stretch you out, post you up, shoot the 3. He can do it all. One of the best offensive players of all time. I got him top 3 offensively all time. The Slim Reaper. So at the 5, I'm gonna go with the traditional big man, the Embiid. Embiid is excellent footwork. Reminds me a lot of Hakeem Olajuwon with his footwork. He can stretch out and shoot the 3. He's a better shooter than Anthony Davis. He's an excellent defender. Like he actually has a better defensive percentage versus Jokic as mostly anyone in the NBA. He gives even Joker problems defensively because of his weight, his girth, and his size, and his physicality. So I like his versatility at the 5 as well. So that's my starting 5. As far as my closing lineup, I'm taking Embiid off the floor. I don't like, I think he stagnates the offense a little bit by holding on to the ball. As far as the starting 5 is concerned, his switchability is not as versatile of an Anthony Davis. You always want length and switchability. Anthony Davis should have, in my opinion, two Defensive Player of the Year awards. He finished second 2 or 3 times in his career. One of the best defenders in the NBA, bar none. He can check a guard, he can check a forward, he can check a center. Doesn't matter. He can switch 1 through 5. You got to have Anthony Davis on the floor defensively for your versatility. At the 4, you got to, again, I'm gonna stick with KD. KD is very clutch. You can't. He can ISO you. You can give it to him and turn around and shoot that J on anybody. It's very few people on the international level that's going to be his height that's going to be able to guard that shot that he has to offer. At the 3, again, I'm going to keep LeBron on the floor. You know, everybody know I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but I'm a very honest person when it comes to what he brings to his value to a team. It's like I said, you need his experience. He's been in so many game clutch situations, game 7s, game 5, play more playoff games with anybody in NBA history. You cannot replace that experience and that know-how. You got to have LeBron James on the floor as, again, a navigator, an air traffic control person, so to speak. You need to get everybody in the right spots. And he has Olympic experience. And then you got your number 2. Your 2 is the position that's very, very important in my opinion in this situation. And I'm going to go with Jrue Holiday at the 2 in my closing lineup. I'm a huge proponent in point of attack defense. He's the best point of attack defender at the guard position on the floor. Usually you got a guy like Canada has a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You're gonna need somebody in the game that he's got to respect, that's gonna make him work hard. You know, and Jrue Holiday is the guy on that team that fits that bill. And then I'm gonna go with Steph Curry at the 5. Steph Curry at the point guard. You can't take the best floor spacer in NBA history out the game that makes the game. You cannot take him out the game. Steph Curry is the best clutch player in NBA this year by a long shot. He was clutch player of the year. You cannot take that off the floor. Steph Curry team defense is very, very underrated. As a team defender, Steph Curry is always in the right spot. You might beat him off the dribble a little bit because he's not as fast, but he's going to give you great effort and he's going to maximize, IQ. LeBron is going to be behind him, coaching all of this stuff up. You got to have Steph Curry on the front. Now, if it's a one possession game on a timeout situation with 15 seconds left, of course you taking Steph Curry off the floor. You're not going to leave him out there for defense and you got 10 seconds to go in the game. You're going to sub Jrue Holiday in for him or White or somebody like that. But in general, the last 5 minutes of game is the closing lineup. You got to have Steph Curry on the floor because he makes the game easy for everybody out there. He's going to force the defense to play everybody else neutral as far as a one-on-one matchup. You either got to live with Steph Curry shooting open threes or being guarded one-on-one. You got to double him, and it frees up the other best 4 players in the world to do what they got to do. And scoring is the name of the game. Is scoring. You got to have Steph Curry on the floor, and that's my take.
I like it. So listen, I'm gonna go real quick. I got LeBron. This is my starting lineup. I got LeBron at the 1. I got Curry at the 2. I got Edwards at my 3. I got Durant at my 4, and I got Anthony Davis at my 5. This is international play.
I'm not mad at it.
They will run Joel Embiid off that court. You will see it real quick.
Yeah.
He will have to play in spurts. They will have to figure out when it's a great time to play him. He will get his minutes. He will get his touches. But they are going to put some pressure on him. He's already coming off of an injury playoff series, right? So are you going to ask him to go out there and give you 30 minutes a night or 25 minutes starting, banging? I'm sure that's not what the Philadelphia 76ers have in mind. So they're going to do some heavy rotation at center. But that's my starting lineup. I got LeBron at the 1, Steph at the 2, Edwards at my 3, Durant at my 4, and Anthony Davis at my 5. All can pass, all can defend, all can make moves off the dribble. All are very vocal on defense. That's another thing that from a team aspect, these players don't play together, right? So you got to have vocal people on the floor. You got to have people that are calling out these screens, calling out what they see, what's happening, switches and things of that nature. All 5 of these guys, I've seen them very vocal. Now, we're down 5. We are down 5 points, and this is my lineup. I will have a center in the game. My center will be Bam. I got Bam at my 5. Bam is he's a very underrated shot blocker, very underrated switch guy, He is very vocal. He's not going to give up a loose board. He's going to get his stops and he's going to help. I like his athleticism. I like his vocality. I like his team concept. He won't give up the layup. He'll give up the free throws before he give up the layup. So the effort will be there from Bam. I like Bam at my 5. At my 4, I'm going Anthony Davis. You cannot take Davis off the floor. He's too big of a shot blocker. He's too big of a bucket getter down the stretch. At my 3, I'm going Kevin Durant. I got Kevin Durant at my 3. He's an underrated defender as well. Mm-hmm. And so now I have my defensive presence. Now, at my 2, no one is going to pick this guy, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going Derek White at my 2 to close out the game. Why? He's the biggest shot blocking guard in the NBA. He led the NBA guards in shot block. If you go back and look at all those series, he's averaging about 2 blocks a game. So he's not, we're talking about one-on-one blocks. We're not talking about chase down blocks. And so I have Derek White down 5, 3 minutes. Everybody got their points. And so like he can hit the 3, he can hit the jumper, he's going to make the passes. He's a willing defender as well. Oh, yeah. If he's giving up those if he's getting those stats.
Hey Jamie, I consider Derek White over Drew Holiday. That's a good take.
Yeah,
I like that.
I definitely like him. And you're talking about ending the game. I have to end the game with LeBron at the 1 as my true facilitator. This way, if anything gets by him, you have 4 shot blocking potential candidates behind him. He can start any break. He can facilitate to anybody coming down the floor. So that's my closing lineup for Team USA. Like,
let me say this, Jamie.
All right.
Just another interesting nugget that a lot of people don't know. This kind of rub a little salt in my boy Thomas' face a little bit. Steph Curry, 18 or 17-0 in Team USA play.
Yep.
Since he's been affiliated, he's never lost a game. That's his impact on winning when it comes to his floor spacing and gravity and gravitational pull opens up the whole floor. Anthony Davis was talking about it recently in an interview, how much playing with Steph Curry it just like opens up everything for him. But I envision Team USA going undefeated this run, so he could easily be somewhere around 26 or 17, 26-0 anytime he puts on a Team USA uniform.
I hope that is the case. We're gonna switch over to Bronny James real quick, and we know that is a hot topic in the NBA. Has the criticism of Bronny James been fair? How do you anticipate both Bronny and LeBron handling it as this season progresses? Let's go with Ja. Ja, what do you think what's going on with Bronny? I'm gonna give you. I can't wait to get my take. Come on with it. What you got?
Man, listen, bro. I'm starting it off with real simple. If the Thanasis Antetokounmpo has been in the league for whatever amount of time he's been in the league, I don't want to hear no Bronny slander. Period. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. They act like they took the man first round, first high lottery pick. They did not. The man got drafted 55. You cannot tell me once you got past, I guarantee you, no one can tell me anybody who got drafted kind of past 20. You know what I mean? This is all about development and the future. The Lakers have shown Austin Reeves, Alex Caruso, that they can develop people. So I don't want to hear the Bronny criticism. The man had a heart injury going into college, which slowed him down. He had to get back used to playing basketball, get back on the court. And then when he got back out there, he only averaged 4. But if you watch their games, especially leading into trying to make the NCAA tournament, he was a big key in them trying to make a run. They won a couple games in the Pac-12 tournament to try to force their way to the NCAA tournament. They fell a little short, but he was a key player in that. You cannot tell me that it is 54 better prospects than him out there in this past draft. This was considered one of the weakest drafts ever. I just don't buy it. It's 100% LeBron hate. The man has been good for so long. I am not a LeBron fan. I am on record. I am a Kevin Durant fan. Everyone knows it. But you cannot deny greatness. The man has been good for 20 years, and this is just simply LeBron hate. Just find a way to try to hate the man or whatever. As far as them handling it, LeBron has been one of the best people to just block out noise and just stay professional. All the stuff that's been thrown his way ever since he was 18, ever since he declared chosen one, you cannot find another athlete who's coming out, been that hyped and succeeded to the level LeBron had. So I know he has showed Bronny the way to like block out noise and just hoop. So I'm not really concerned with them as far as the season go. Bronny will probably be a little bit in between G League and playing. He has some development for sure. He's not ready yet. He's not the full polished Bronny, you know what I'm saying? But give him time, let him work, let them try to teach him and help him grow, and he'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like the criticism. Thanasis has had a freaking spot on the Bucks, and he ain't did nothing, even in the bubble. Like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. As long as Thanasis got a roster spot, Bronny James got a roster spot, and that's all I got on that.
All right, let's go up the roster with it, man. Come on with it, team. What you got with Bronny James?
Yeah, man, I'm with Ja again on it, man. But I have a slightly different take from the standpoint of how they handle it. I don't think you can have it both ways. And so if as LeBron James, again, you are to some the greatest of all times, you top 1, 2, 3, wherever people rank you of all times, you're still playing. And it's an amazing feature. Almost 40 years old, you're in the NBA with your son, and is it nepotism? Is it favoritism towards LeBron James to get his son drafted at 55? Wherever you fall in that is fair, whether you say yes or whether you say no, whatever the case may be on that. But what I do have a problem, the only part I have a problem with how they handle it, LeBron can't say on one end, tweet and say that his son is could play for the Lakers right now in February, and then turn around and say a couple of days ago that he doesn't worry about the outside critics and he's blocking out all this noise and he's doing all these things and that some of the criticisms are unfair of Bronny. No, you can't have it both ways. You need to stay out the way and let Bronny make his own name in the league and let him earn it the way that people feel like he should earn it. Whether he gets his foot in the door or not through your name is fine. But if you're gonna tweet early on in the season that this man could be playing for the Lakers right now. He was the 55th pick, and he's only scored 3 points in the last couple games for the Lakers Summer League. It's kind of condescending, and it's going both. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. He's either this generational talent that's going to be an impactful player, or he needs to be developed. If I'm LeBron James, you don't even have to speak on your son at this point. The numbers going to speak for themselves, whether he plays, because I think LeBron opening his mouth puts way more pressure on Bronny than anything else Bronny's actually doing. So I think LeBron James has mishandled how he's gotten or how he's come out to the public about Bronny James. And again, that's his son. He's trying to defend him from some what he feels to be unfair criticism. But by you stepping in the way, you're messing up the natural progression. Nobody cares that he's the 55th pick. What they care about is as LeBron James' son, you're making these statements. Now we want to see you live up to this hype. And you got 3 points in the last 2 games. So now it's putting more pressure on Bronny. And I think that's a misstep by LeBron. It's one of the few he's made in his career. But I think if you're asking how they've handled it, yeah, they've handled it poorly in my sense.
Okay. Let's talk C-Note on. We're talking about LeBron James, and we got C-Note on the money, on the mic. And let me sit back.
Hey, let me say this, for this one. My boy TA, man, he the only person that I know out of any of my people in my friend group that can bring me down to a low in terms of what is he talking about and bring me up in the next sentence to like this my dog right there. I'm talking about that take couldn't have been more perfect. He took a lot of the things I was gonna say about Bronny. You know, from a basketball perspective, Bronny has to make his own way. You know, on the floor basketball play. it's just like I was gonna say what TA just said it again. It's like psychology. LeBron can't be the person saving him. LeBron can't be the person talking and justifying things. He has to let the media, his other teammates, and other people do that, because the more Bron say, the more they're gonna expect out of Bronny. The more anything Bron say is gonna get magnified times a billion. So he say one thing, well, Bron said this, so I'm gonna watch him. Just let the boy play. He plays really good defense. I love him as his defensive potential. I saw him out there being physical, guarding a center out there in the summer league. I want to say he had 3 steals and 2 blocks or something like that. In his most recent game, he's showing defense. He's not efficient. I'm more concerned about his mentality. Gilbert Arenas on his show said that LeBron told him to go look at his kid one game, and he trained with Gilbert Arenas. And he said the guy, he saw all the athleticism, the potential, the shot making. He has a nice stroke, whatever. He said, he was out there playing. The kids was just pushing over him and just rolling over him. He didn't show any physicality or mental toughness. And Gilbert said he pulled him to the side and said, man, don't let them guys do you like that. Show me some muscle. Show them that, who you are. He said LeBron's son went out there and showed out after he had that talk with him and motivated him. He says like he had to put a battery in his back to kind of charge him up to be that alpha. So I just think it's a mentality thing, and it's going to take maybe 2 or 3 years of maturity, him getting comfortable in his own skin and getting used to the spotlight of the NBA that's going to be cast upon him. And LeBron has to stay out the way and minimize that growth process, so he won't have as big of a spotlight on him. He needs to be the one that kind of put him out there and say, my son has to fend for himself. I'm not going to save him. He said that more people will organically kind of subconsciously come to his defense. Again, it's a tactical way. It's chess, not checkers. You have to word and set him up for success, so the spotlight won't be as big on him, and so the pressure won't I like it to be so much. So that's more my take.
Listen, I love it. Everybody has said some well thought out points on Bronny and Bronny James. Unfortunately or fortunately, who Bronny James is to Bron will never change. He is LeBron James' son. So 2 things. Anything LeBron does will be magnified, and anything that he doesn't do will be magnified as well. If the media is ripping Bronny and he says nothing, the media will rip Bron for his lack of influence. You have this great influential NBA player. He's allowing this. They will put it on LeBron's lap as to what he has allowed the media to do and say without checking on his son. Like, he does not have a win. LeBron has no win in this. Like, he can't win. If he makes one tweet every 6 months, you know what they're going to say? He always taking up for his son. If he says one thing in another realm about his son, he's not even trying to support his son. Like, he can't win. Like, he literally, once he understands he can't win, and this is a topic of discussion, it is taking up it's going to take up 10 to 15 minutes of our time on our platform. It is taking up hours of ESPN, ESPN2, like whatever social media outlet that's out there that's talking about sports, it is consuming them. So it is going to be a topic of discussion. There's nothing, he has to understand that he cannot do the right. There is no right. There is no right. Whatever he does, one wing or the left, we're going to say he's doing too much or not enough. Let's go down this road and let's talk about what you should consider winning for Bronny. Let's take LeBron out of it, right? Let's go with let's go here. We're going to go here. and I'm not, like the preacher said, I'm not going to be before you long. Michael McDonald, out of New Orleans, 6'10", played in one NBA game. He had 4 minutes. He had 1 offensive rebound and 2 turnovers. Ronnie Henderson, 6'4" guard, did not stick to the NBA. And I was a Ronnie Henderson fan. I'm going to go back to Ronnie Henderson. Mark Blount. Mark Blount out of Pitt, 7-footer, played for 14. He averaged 8 points a game, 8 points a game, and 4 boards a game. Solid. Mark Blount was a little underrated. 1998, Ryan Bowen. Does anybody know Ryan Bowen? Probably not. He's a 6'7" forward. He averaged 2.6 a game, 2 rebounds, played for 4 teams. He made 85 starts up to 2010. Chris Clack. Y'all know Chris Clack. Chris Clack got no NBA stats. Chris Porter. Y'all know Chris Porter. Y'all don't know Chris Porter. He played a little bit in the early 2000s, averaged 8.6 and 4 points a game. Maurice Jeffers. I don't know Maurice Jeffers. He played for the Kings. No NBA stats. I mean, I'm just going down some 55th picks and what you should consider a win for where Bronny James is coming in at. He was picked 55th for a reason. He is a developmental player. He is not a generational talent. There is nothing he does that's going to put him in the top 50 of anything he does. Not top 50 fastest, his jumping ability, passing ability. He's not top 50 in guarding nobody. He will need to be developed. I feel like the only way he gets to the NBA this season, major injuries, or the Lakers are well out of or well into playoff contention later in the season. They say, hey, we're gonna rest Bronny for this last week. We can bring Bronny in and we miss nothing in ourselves, and people are there, or the Lakers have no shot at the playoffs. We can play Bronny some minutes. That's the only way he gets in. And I like Bronny's game. I really do. I like Bronny's game. But overall, there is no win with the media. Whatever he says will be amplified. It doesn't matter what happens, it's going to be amplified 10 times, retweeted, reposted, changed around from that standpoint. We're going to switch over to the NFL before we close out tonight. And we're going to put on the ticker. This is the year of Daniel Jones, what the GM of the Giants said. And are they making a mistake going all in on DJ, Daniel Jones? Is he ready to lead the team to success? Let's go see note on the money. What do you think about this GM for the Giants? What is he doing?
I think as a GM, you got to look at it from his perspective. We have to find out who Daniel Jones is. Nobody really knows who he is beyond, he's had injuries here and there, but since he's gotten his, he had a big season where he led them to the playoff unexpectedly, where he got his contract. They chose Barkley over Daniel Jones. When you invest $80 million into a quarterback, and you have to see what his potential is. Now, Daniel Jones, in his defense, has had some of the worst receiving cores in the National Football League. I can't name a team with a worse receiving core than the Giants has had over the last maybe 4 or 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. So you got to build a receiver core around him. They did that. They drafted arguably the best receiver in the draft at I want to say number 2 or 3, wherever he went. So he has a target, a freak of nature target at receiver. And they're focused on building out the offensive line and making sure the offensive line is dominant. So once you do that and allow him to be a passer, you sit back and see if he's worth the money. Either he's worth it or he isn't. You can't make a informed decision without giving him an opportunity to prove himself and let him go out there and show it on the field. So I just think it's a ploy for for them to give him the opportunity with no excuses. Say, hey, you got your receiver, you got your tight end, you got your offensive line, you got protection, you got a good coach that you say you trust. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do. And you either do it or you don't. If you do it, we'll put more pieces behind you. We're all in on you. If you don't, we're gonna move on to the next page. We got to turn the page. But you can't go in it, I guess putting half of your toe in the water and not really committing to seeing who he is and what he can do for you as a franchise quarterback. Put all your chips in the middle of the table and see what you got, as opposed to kind of coddling him and putting all these running backs behind him and saving them with 3 running attempts and 1 pass, or 2 running attempts and 1 pass. And then now you got excuses. And somebody say, well, you didn't let him pass enough. Well, you didn't have a receiver around. Take all the excuses away from him and let him prove it on the field.
I like it. Let's talk to me, John. What you got with your Daniel Jones experiment?
Point blank simple for me, I'm out. First of all, like Cino said, they chose Daniel Jones over Saquon. I mean, at some point, we got to hold these GMs, these scouts, these whoever making the decision, we got to start holding some of these guys accountable. In no season, I'm sorry, I know the quarterback position is one of the most important, probably the most important, especially in football. But at some point, you gotta look at what's in front of you. You know what I mean? In no season do you take Daniel Jones over Saquon. I don't. You just can't make that mistake. I mean, I understand if you want to pay Daniel Jones, but if you're gonna pay Daniel Jones, you gotta leave some money to make sure you take her of Saquon, because the engine of the Giants the last couple of years, good or bad, has been Saquon Barkley. Now, a couple of numbers for Daniel Jones. I'm with you, Cino. You got to give him some time, but he's been in the league 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be his 6th season. Overall, he's played 60 games. He's 62 touchdowns and 40 interceptions, along with 46 fumbles. Now, at some point in time, what's out there in front of you is what's out there in front of you. You know what I mean? Like, I know they made a little run. The year they went to the playoffs, he played 16 games. The regular season, he had 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I mean, at some point, your quarterback has to throw the ball and get you more than 15 touchdowns. I mean, this is the new day. This is not the old days where it's more of a run-centric, offense these days. You just can't have it. So out of all the years he's been here, 62 touchdowns, 40 interceptions, and 46 fumbles, to me, that he is who he is. And at some point, you gotta start the rebuild before it's too late. Like I think it was Bill Belichick, but he said sometimes you got to get rid of a guy a year or two ahead of time. At this point, Daniel Jones should have been out last year or the year he wanted his money. I tell you what, you hit the open market and see who wants to pay you for what you've done, and we'll pay Saquon. And then if we not good, we hit on one of these lottery, we take one of these rookies. And one of these rookies come out here and probably plays a little bit better than what you're doing. Because, 15-5, 6 games in 2023 before he got hurt, he had 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, I understand sometimes it is your supporting cast, but one of the main things people look for in quarterbacks is to make your team better. You can't always have 5-star receivers, running backs, tight ends, best off. It's not going to always be roses. You gotta at some point you gotta make some of your teammates better. He made no wide receivers better. He didn't bro. I'm all out on it. And then the main thing is we gotta hold the GM, the guys who are in power. We gotta start holding some of these guys accountable because they didn't help him either. I agree, they didn't help him, but at the same time, somewhere down these 5-6 years, you gotta make somebody better. You gotta go out and just get it done, and he just hasn't been able to do that.
Listen, everybody ain't got the 49ers roster. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody ain't got Pro Bowl.
Everybody ain't built like
Kadarius Toney was his best.
Guys missing Pro Bowls because of guys on their own team. So yeah, I don't have that problem. But we're gonna go to
hey,
TA.
James.
Yeah,
hey, James. Kadarius Toney was his best receiver, and I'm not an apologist. I'm not. If I had to bet, if I was a betting man, I'm out on Daniel Jones for the record. Okay. But Kadarius Toney was his best receiver, and he went over to Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL, and still looked like a bum. And still couldn't get on the field. So you know, I'm just trying to give him a little difference. I want to be objective and fair to him, and see what he does with these, you know, because every quarterback that we say is good usually operating with a top 10 receiver around him. So if they get to have one, let's see what Daniel Jones can do with one. There's no excuses for him this year. Let's see what he do. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead, T.A.
I got you. I love it. T.A., talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything these guys have said. The part of it is, though, one, if you say you all in on Daniel Jones, what does success for him look like? Because they're not about to win the NFC East. They are literally, now with the emergence of Jaden Daniels, he may be the fourth best quarterback in the NFC East.
Excellent take.
At this point. The Giants, the Giants were 2 games above the Commanders last year, and the Commanders were tanking. So the thing about it is, you're saying that adding, and this is the NFL. So adding a rookie wide receiver, if you think that that's going to amount to what we're thinking, because in order for them to get into the playoff in the NFC, especially you're talking about adding another 5 games. Is Malik Neighbors worth 5 games?
No.
As far as his production? Absolutely not. So if you're going to say you're going to go all in, I don't know what success really looks like for them. They're going to probably be 3rd or 4th, depending on how things shake out in the NFC East. Yep. Daniel Jones is not that guy. I'm with Jarvis on that. It doesn't matter. You know, his numbers, even without good receivers, his numbers show that he doesn't take care of the football. He's throwing awful. I've seen some plays he made against the Cowboys, and our defense wasn't just thumping this year, and it's ridiculous. And so, no, I'm listen, and I agree with Jarvis and C-No too on this point. We got to start holding the GMs accountable. I think the GM is saying the right thing because that is your starting quarterback. But at the end of the day, are you willing to get fired over this man? That's exactly what's about to happen.
Facts.
Listen,
on which
I disagree with you all. I absolutely love Daniel Jones with the Giants. I love it. I love it.
For selfish reasons.
Listen, I wish they'd have signed him to a 40-year deal. I wish they'd have signed him to a 40-year, $400 million deal. Man, let that man quarterback for as long as he can.
Hey, Jamie, let him cook. Let him cook.
Let him cook, man. I love Daniel Jones starting for the New York Football Giants, man. I absolutely love it. I'm going to tell you, this was probably one of the most intriguing re-signs of the entire offseason. Out of all the people to cash in, and he's cashing in under a GM that did not draft him. That was even more intriguing. The guy that came in, Joe Schoen that came in, did not draft him. He was drafted 6 seasons ago, and we just got a new GM there. So for him to go out, it's very intriguing. So he didn't draft him. He re-signs him, and to what C-No said, he has to say something. He has to back up because he's already walked the walk. He gave him the contract, so now he has to talk to the media. But no, I love Daniel Jones over there. Let's keep throwing those interceptions. Let's keep fumbling the ball. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. New York Giants, you got yourself something over there. If he doesn't do well this year, add another year or 2 on to his contract. This guy, he's going to be something for your franchise eventually. Let's keep him. Keep him in New York. Please keep him in New York. I have a chance to win 2 games with Daniel Jones in New York. That's a fact. Let's get out of here, man. We've been on here an hour and 21 minutes tonight. We're going to do our parting shots, and we're going to start with TA tonight.
Yeah, man. Listen, I always appreciate being on with these guys, man. The mindset that you guys have, the different takes, whether we agree or disagree, it's always good to be with the Mike Talk gang. Listen, the only thing that I want to say, some of you may know or may not know, in education, one of the things that I tell my staff, and one of the things that we did this week with professional development, a lot of times what we do in life is confuse what we do with who we are. And one of the things that I want to make sure that people understand is that nothing is forever. And I know that's a cliche that we always hear, but don't confuse what we do with who you are. What it is that we do on a daily basis is a small piece of the purpose that each one of us has. And so what I tell my teachers and what I want to share with people tonight is make sure that you have work-life balance. Because if the work, if something were to happen to you today, they find somebody else to do their job. But somebody couldn't find a parent, they couldn't find a brother, they will not be able to replace you in the spot that you hold in people's hearts. So make sure that you have work-life balance. Make sure you take your time off. Make sure that you take the time to enjoy the moments that you are able to spend with family and loved ones and people that you really care about. Because when it's all said and done, I heard a pastor say this. He said when he does end of life type of counseling, he said nobody ever asks about where the things are in life. They always ask about moments. They always talk about things that happen in certain moments with certain people. And those are the things that people really value when the time is short. So anyway, listen, I love y'all, man. Listen, value life. Always make sure that you prioritize self over everything else.
That's dope, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, TA. Talk to me. C-note on the money. Talk to me.
Hey. So got a little message here. Be the type of person you want to attract in your life. Your vibe creates your tribe. Again, your vibe creates your tribe. So I have a story. Tommy Tuberville, when he was at Auburn, I overheard this story on the radio coming home about a couple of days ago. So Tommy Tuberville, he's a coach at Auburn. He had a relationship with this player. He was a freshman coming on, and actually it was a second year guy coming on. Had a few spot plays, and long short of the story, guy went to practice. He played okay, and he and his friend, who was a starting receiver, his friend was his roommate, was starting receiver. They were after practice, they decided to go get some pizza from Pizza Hut or whatever. So they went out and got some pizza. The radio station was on Sports Talk. They overheard on the radio that Auburn's starting receiver got cut. He was released from the roster, and they're no longer renewing his scholarship. They added on another guy. And then he was like, "Is that you?" And the guy was like, I don't know, man. He got real quiet. They ended up pulling over. He was like, they turned around. It was like, man, I need to use your truck, man. I need to go back up here and see is this real or are they cutting me for real? So he goes back up there to the coach's office, and Tommy Tuberville was still lingering around the facility, so he was still there. Went in the coach's office, and he asked the coach, "Coach, am I cut? I was just at practice an hour ago. Nobody said anything to me." And he was like, "Well, yeah, you're no longer on the no longer with us. Sorry, I had to be that way." Didn't have any remorse about anything he said, and just cut the kid. So the kid ended up transferring to Troy or something like that, and he had a decent career. So the kid, finished out his career, ended up being a high school football coach in the Alabama area a few years later. So lo and behold, this guy ended up having all of the blue chip athletes, football players in Alabama going through his funnel at the high school. Being again, you guys like CJ, what's the quarterback? CJ, was it
Stroud?
No, the quarterback that started for Alabama that ended up playing in the NFL. I forgot his name. AJ McCarthy. Yeah, AJ McCarthy.
Yeah,
that was his name. So he ended up going through there, and there's a couple other 5-star athletes that came through this high school. And Tommy Tuberville came to this coach's office and showed up, was like, I'm looking for some guys to bring to Auburn, recruiting them. And he welcomed coach in. He asked him, he was like, "Man, you look familiar. Who, what do I know you from?" He was like, "Well, coach, you're the guy that helped define my life, man. One of the toughest moments of my whole life." He said, "You're the guy that I had to find out that I was cut on the radio instead of you telling me yourself. I was at your practice. You looked me in the eye a few times. You never told me, that I was cut or reason why I was cut or anything. You just kind of cut your ties with me." And Tommy Tuberville, had a big shock on his face, and ended up just walking out the office and knowing, he said he never tried to recruit from this school again. And the guy said he ended up sending all of the 5-star players to Alabama as opposed to Auburn. you know, because he said I'm not gonna hate on you, coach, but he said if any of these players ask me about you, I'm gonna tell them the exact truth and who you are and who your character are. And I say that to say your power and your influence, it can be indicative of your environment or it can be indicative of your character. If people respect you beyond your environment, they're respecting you because of the experience they had with you and the respect they have for you. And if you can leave your environment and get have the same influence or power, whether you're in your environment of influence or not, that means you've done things the right way and you've installed respect amongst the people that you've encountered. So I would like to leave y'all with that message.
All right, love it. Yeah. Let's go, Ja. Come on with it.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go a different route. This is for my casuals. I know y'all talked about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You know, I recognize what they brought to the WNBA, but I just want to let everybody know who really wasn't paying attention. It is better women playing the game of basketball right now, and they need our support. And so, like, I'm a huge WNBA guy. You can ask Thomas. Me and him often have conversations. I let him know who's playing, who's doing what. So I just encourage everyone to like give those women a try. You know, they're trying to do something special with the WNBA. I understand what Angel Reese and Kayla Clark are bringing, but it's a woman by the name of A'ja Wilson who's the best woman basketball player in the world. Today she had 24 and 20. She's back-to-back champion, back-to-back finals MVP. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to challenge people to, just watch more than Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. They are phenomenal players as well, but it's other great players in the WNBA, and what they're trying to do is phenomenal for women in general. Nafisa Collier, Alyssa Thomas, Stewie, Ionescu. Like I can name a lot of women that like Arika Agumawale. Like it's some ballers in the WNBA. So I just challenge everyone to like give them a chance, step out your comfort zone. I know we watched LSU and Iowa playing the championship and then have good battles, but it's other great women out there and what they're trying to do for the WNBA. So I just encourage everyone to just like, watch more than Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, because I can tell you firsthand, I've been watching all year. I watched all last year. I watched the year before. A'ja Wilson is like that. She is like that. And she is the best woman player in the world right now. So that's my part shots. Just give the WNBA women more of a look. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got.
Got it. We'll do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this thing up. As we wrap up today's show, let's leave you with this thought. Burn the ships. It's about a no turning back mentality, fully committing to your goals and dreams without any safety nets. Like the explorers of old who burned their ships when reaching new lands, we too must leave behind our doubts and fears. There's no retreat, no surrender. Embrace the challenges ahead. Push forward with determination and never look back. The future belongs to those who dare to fully commit. When you go back and look at people that have excelled, they chose a path, and that's it. They chose no options. Until next time, stay strong and keep pushing. This has been Mike Talk Sports Podcast. We out.
All the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really bout it, tune on in, no need to side it. Don't hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really bout it, tune on in, no need to side it. Don't hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's start it off with Mr. Brady, play the game to win it. Whatever that you think you analyze, then he gon' spin it. C-note on the money, get it straight from the beginning. Hit you with some quotes before you know it's gon' be trending. These boys ain't no rookies, they some veterans like BA. That's why we got real ones on the team like that boy TA. No, I ain't for